Hello there, one and all. Raziel here, and I just got back from seeing Dark Phoenix. It wasn't a terrible movie. If you enjoyed the past X-Men movies, I would definitely say go check it out. It it wasn't great either. So before I even start talking about the movie, I just want to run a little something by people. So, not spoilers for the movie, but if you haven't read the Dark Phoenix saga, the comic book, going to be a couple of spoilers on that. So, just to give you a little background as to what we're about to get into. So, just saying. So, I mean, I absolutely love this story. I'm not a big comic book fan, but this, when I heard about this way back when, I definitely had to get this. But, so, and I'm going to give you a Cliff Notes version because it's a long story. It's just under 200 pages. So, long story short, Jean Grey is engulfed with the Phoenix Force. Starts off good, thanks to a group called the Inner Circle, who we kind of see a tease in X-Men First Class with Sebastian Shaw and the White Queen, but sadly they're pushed aside because they were there. But it's because of the Inner Circle and a person named Mastermind messes with her head. She becomes the Black Queen. Like, she was already going dark, but now she's full on Dark Phoenix. She gets her revenge on Mastermind for screwing with her mind. And she pretty much goes back crap crazy. She even has the ability to change the molecular structure of things to where at one point she turns a tree into solid gold and Beast has lifted up to save a few of his people. But when I say back crap crazy, I mean to the fullest extent, because there's even one point that after fighting all of her friends and going into space, she, for lack of a better phrase, rips a hole in the fabric of space, jumps to another galaxy, devours a star to power herself up, and because she pretty much devoured the core of that star, it goes supernova and kills, I believe, around 10 to 11 planets that are in that galaxy, including one that's inhabited by I guess you could say, a primitive race of people, and she doesn't bat an eye. She comes back home, she's ready to do a little more insanity, but thanks to an alien force known as the Shi'ar, hope I said that right, led by their queen Lilandra, they are ready to actually just flat out annihilate Jean Grey. But Charles extends his hand and says, I wish for trial by combat, and for them to save her. Now the thing is, Jean herself isn't evil. The Phoenix Force, what happens is because it experiences emotion and all that stuff, it loses its sense of duty. And that's why it looks like Jean's gone crazy. Well, to sum that up, they kind of do okay, but the fight was rigged from the start. Lilandra did not want them to succeed. They wanted to kill the Phoenix in order to save all of creation. Jean, in a sense, realizes this because even though at the moment she's fighting on their side, she says she feels the power slipping. And what she ends up doing is sacrificing herself by causing one of a nearby laser cannon she sees to literally turn her into a smoldering crater. It's quite deep, and the last thing she says is she screams out Scott's name, and of course that messes him up. That's the Dark Phoenix saga in a nutshell. There's so much more to that story. I highly suggest, if you're curious, check out your library, go to the bookstore. I'm sure this is a pretty old version, so I'm pretty sure it's not even that expensive anymore, but worst case scenario, check your local library. I'm sure they can find it. Or maybe there's even a digital copy, just saying. Now, for the movie, folks, 99.8% of what I just said does not happen. I kind of expected that. I don't know what I was expecting, character development, plot, love. I honestly believe that because they realized this was going to be their last movie and that the mouse was going to uphold the power, because let's face it, the mouse will eventually rule everything, they just said, whatever, let's just roll with it. Now, again, as always, no spoilers, but the trailer kind of ruined a few main key things, like something that will happen to at least one character. If you've seen all the trailers, you know what's coming, although, let's face it, given that particular actor, they probably had a little hand into that. But As for the plot, as you see in the trailer, Jean Grey absorbs a cosmic force, which, for unknown reasons, everybody believes is a solar flare. That includes NASA and the X-Men. These are some brilliant minds, and all they can do is think, that's what a solar flare looks like? I'm no astrophysicist. I would have known that was not a solar flare. But regardless, so she absorbs it, and it's not exactly the Phoenix Force. It's just a force. And also, too, a lot of the actions that happened in the previous movie, Apocalypse, we're pretending that never happened because there are certain things that are done and said that all you do is sit there and think, hang on, didn't they already have that thought because of what we've seen? But whatever. They do bring back all the goodies. You know, we have Quicksilver, Nightcrawler, Storm. The person playing Storm, I definitely enjoyed her as a character. No disrespect to Halle Berry, but this Storm, aside from the whole quoting Shakespeare, was fantastic. Although, as far as Nightcrawler goes, they could have done so much more with him. I actually didn't know it was the same kid at first. He grew. He's a little beanstalk. Everybody else was decent, but for the most part, it just seemed more like, okay, we're here, we're going to make one more movie, and let's just have fun. Which I'm not hating on because I did enjoy this movie. It's just there's so much more they could have done. Even the villains, or the antagonists, I'll get to them in a moment. But it's just, in my opinion, if this was your last X-Men movie, you didn't necessarily have to go the Dark Phoenix route. We saw what happened with The Last Stand. I'd say The Last Stand had a better storyline, but this one was just a little bit more fun, because The Last Stand was quite boring, despite it having a story base. That said, they could have gone so many different directions. They could have gone with, what was it? Gone back to Wolverine, even though he's gone. They could have gone to when, what was the story of Fatal Attraction, where, for crying out loud, Magneto pulls all the adamantium out of his body, and that's when we first discover the Bone Claws, because he gets angry and, whoo, surprise. They could have done a story about the Phalanx. Basically think the Borg from Star Trek. They could have done a story on the death of Wolverine. They already did that, right. My bad. They could have also done, the Brood, which, going back to the antagonist, the Brood are basically the alien xenomorphs, but actually a little more terrifying because of the stuff that they can do. And the protagonists in this movie are not too far off from the Brood. They look nothing like them, thank goodness, but just a few of the traits that they have is very similar, which made me think, that might have been interesting. Back to the Fatal Attraction, they could have created Onslaught. Now, there's a little picture of the guy, but if you want to know something about Onslaught, look him up. That definitely would have been a fascinating story to do. I'm basically just saying, they could have gone so many different directions than this, but it's still not bad. I mean, nice try. I guess we'll see what happens when Disney takes over the X-Men and see how that plays out. But for me personally, this will probably be the last X-Men movie I watch. Just, I don't know. It's like Transformers and The Matrix all over again. Like, you got your first few and they were okay to a degree, but then, about to say sequelitis. This movie, like so many lately, is also suffering from traileritis, where there are moments or phrases that were said in the trailer that were not in the movie. It doesn't kill the movie, but there were so many moments where I kept expecting to hear certain things or see certain things. I was just like, oh, okay. And there is no post-credit scene, so you don't have to sit through the trailers, not even the mid-credit scene. So once the movie's done, it's done. I will say this, though. Tad bit of a sequel bag in a sense, although I don't know why, because I do believe this is it. Fox's rights is going to be done after this, and Mickey's going to roll with it. But still, at the end, just pay attention, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I will see everybody again very soon. Hope everybody has a wonderful weekend, and prepare for quite a plethora of videos coming very soon. had little issues this week, but now that things are getting fixed, this week coming is going to be a bit full. So I will see you all again very soon. Take care.